You don't realize you're in burnout until you're already deep in it. And no matter amount of green juice that you take, the amount of ice baths you take, and the amount of quote unquote self-care, no matter how much you do, it's not going to fix it if you don't stop what's burning you out in the first place. Hey, it's George. Welcome back. And let's be honest, right now it feels like the entire world is under pressure. Could be revenue feels tighter, or the market's weird, or buying cycles have changed, or you're still expected to show up like a machine while your nervous system is screaming for a break. You're not broken, but the way that you're carrying the load might be. Welcome to the Mind of George show. This is the show where entrepreneurs discover that true scaling isn't about hacks or tactics. It's about aligning your mindset, message, and marketing to create sustainable growth that feels authentic, aligned, and most importantly, like who you are. And if you're new here, I am George Bryant. And around here, we believe it's simple, that we care more about your humanity than your highlight reel. And so if somebody sent you this episode, it's because they care about your longevity more than your latest launch. And I'm excited for you to be here because this is the kickoff. This is episode 1 of my Reset in 20 series. These are 7 short, very focused episodes, all under 20 minutes that you can use as a daily reset throughout the end of the year so that you crawl into January on fire instead of running on fumes. And just so you know where we're headed, this is not just one episode. This is part of a 7-episode Reset in 20 series. And so they are 7 short, under 20 minutes, punchy resets that you can use between now and the end of the year to clear your head, reset your heart, reset your priorities and your focuses, and walk into the next season lighter and clearer, not more burnt out. And we're going to be covering everything from this episode through the next 7. So how to navigate burnout and design a business that doesn't break you, to turning emotional landmines into breakthroughs or clarity, how to change the stories that are running our life to shift our beliefs, how we can raise the standards of what we allow because we are what we tolerate, how to rest and recharge. So learning how to actually refuel with the 7 types of rest, and how to build the habits that your future self is begging for. And finally, the last in the series is going to be standing guard at your lighthouse, how to protect your mind, heart, and perspective. And my challenge to you is simple. Commit to all 7. They're each going to drop on a Monday. But block 20 minutes a day on your calendar, whether it's drive time, or when you're walking the dog or running errands, it doesn't matter what it is. But I want you to commit to these 7 episodes and let them be that Monday reset or daily reset as you head into the holidays and the new year. And so that's my challenge for you, because when you listen to these, I don't want you to binge them and forget them. I want you to walk through them one at a time and let them work on you and do the work that's in them. And today we're starting with the one thing that most entrepreneurs refuse to look at until it's too late, which is burnout. It is the number one conversation that I have. And I'm sharing a post from my friend Landon that hit me so hard, I had to bring it here, including the 4 questions that can permanently change how you structure your life and business. And so by the end of this episode of part 1 of the series, you will have a radically honest mirror for where you are right now, and 4 very simple questions that can either be comfortable or uncomfortable as you sit with them to start designing a business that lets you recover while you keep moving forward. Because if you are always the last one to get taken care of, your business will eventually collect that debt. And it doesn't collect it easily. It collects it with interest, and it costs you everything. And so if this reset hits home, I invite you to share it with one friend and commit to finishing all 7 episodes in the Reset in 20 series. And so without further ado, let's dive into episode 1. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Mind of George Show. And we're going to talk about burnout. And there's a reason I'm going to talk about this, because in the last probably 30 days, I've been in contact on group calls, individual calls, client calls with close to maybe 300 or 400 entrepreneurs. And this topic is coming up because everybody's feeling the pressure, the market changing. And I have an incredible friend, a man that I respect and admire deeply. He is a dear friend of mine. His name is Landon, and I'm going to link to his post in the show notes of this. You can connect with him on Facebook. He's also one of the best ads guys in the world for paid media when it comes to Facebook. And this is something that's been prevalent for him. And so I reached out to him personally and I asked if I could share this, because it is the most profound, powerful, straight to the point, on how to navigate burnout, what questions to ask. And I'm going to give you the 4 questions and also share his post with you because this happens. It's happened to me, quite frankly, hundreds of times, which I'm not proud to admit, but it's a part of the game and it's a part of the process. And it's something that we need to stay at the forefront of. Entrepreneurship is like a professional sport. And if we don't take care of ourselves like professional athletes and get ahead of it, then we end up in a pretty serious bucket trying to recover. And most of the time, it feels like that ground is uncoverable, unrecoverable. And the way that he put this in words is so eloquent, so powerful, and so profound that I genuinely just had to share it on the podcast. And so I'm going to share this with you. And my invitation for you is, even if you don't think you're in burnout, these 4 questions, doesn't matter what stage of entrepreneurship you're at, doesn't matter if you're just starting, you've been in the game, you're doing 7 figures, 8 figures, for the few that listen to this, to 9 figures and above. This is applicable to every single entrepreneur. This is applicable to our life. This is applicable to every bucket and area in which we choose to live. And these questions are profound. And so maybe they don't apply to your business, but they can apply to your life, to your relationships, to your friendships, to your habits, to your day. And I want you to genuinely give this some thought, give this some space to let it marinate. And so here's his post. If you're in the thralls of burnout, this might be helpful. After listening to a 90-minute podcast from a psychologist specializing in burnout, my business may be permanently changed. 2 points the psychologist made landed heavily for me, seared into my mind, and I can't stop thinking about them. The first, you've reached burnout before you realize it. Now sit with that for a moment. I can't think of an entrepreneur that I've talked to in the last 6 months that hasn't expressed feelings of burnout. This is what I was talking about a minute ago. Genuinely close to 500 people. And I've been in professional settings where quote unquote burnout was swept under the rug and deemed as exaggeration, meaning hustle more, grind more. But hearing you're there before you know it was a wake-up call for me. And the second thing is you can't recover from burnout without quote unquote stopping. And this sent me spinning and was the focus of my therapy last week. The realization that no amount of self-care, cold showers, meditation, collagen protein, or green juice is going to make me feel better until I stop doing what I'm currently doing. I'm still wrapping my head around this. Those tools are still needed though, but they are preventative and management tools, not the cure to your burnout. Over the last few years, I've learned a lot about myself and gained and continue to gain an understanding of my neurodivergence, wiring, and related needs. My what I refer to as quote unquote capacity is lower than I thought. We're all highly unique individuals, so I can only speak for myself, and I'm sharing this through my lens with my stories as well. But that's life. I can't change this, but I can accommodate it. I've felt this way since at least 2017, when I hit a bit of a rock bottom running my previous business. So I know that meditation, being a nomad, working from home, living in Mexico, traveling and taking 3 trips a year to the beach, while amazing, did not get rid of my burnout over the last 7 years. But hearing this expert speak opened my eyes to a new realization. How do I structure my business in a way to better support my health? I have plans, things I want to achieve, and the lifestyle I'm working towards. Products I'd like to build, opportunities in writing I'd like to see out, partnerships I'm forming, and avenues for recurring revenue. But I'm seeing a reality where these things may need to happen sooner than I anticipated. And as an entrepreneur, I cannot take stress leave and still get paid. I'm unable to take 6 months off work, right now at least. And being told by my therapist that 1 month off is nothing when it comes to recovering from burnout, this is both shocking and exciting all at the same time. Clarity was brought to me this week. How do I design or redesign my business and life to make stopping possible? And I am posing very serious and deep questions. And so here's the 4 questions. And these 4 questions are profound. And these questions get to be sat with. They get to be dated. They get to be intentional, and you get to have time. And on this podcast, I have talked about, probably in 40-ish episodes or so, when it comes to mindset and relationships with ourselves, the concepts of future self journaling,
thinking differently. 10x is better than 2x. Personality isn't permanent by Benjamin Hardy. But to get different results, we have to take different actions, which means we have to stop doing the ones we're currently doing, no matter how much we convince ourselves that if we just keep doing them, something's going to change. There was a podcast I did on the Little Book of Clarity with Jamie Smart, which talks about toxic thinking, which is I'll start this when, I'll do this when. And so these 4 questions are profound, but they have to be taken seriously with intention and then intentional action to change some behaviors. So question 1 is, how do I design my business to allow me to recover now? What would I need to change in my life or business to take 1 month off? What would I need to change to work half the hours and make the same income? And who do I want to work with? What do I love and not love about my current work? And I'm going to share those 4 questions again. How do I design it, my life or business, to allow me to recover now? What would I need to change to take 1 month off? What would I need to change to work half the hours and make the same income? And who do I want to work with? What do I love and not love about my current work? The rest of his post goes on to say, it's time to sit in deep reflection as I plan Q3 next month, it's likely going to look drastically different than I anticipated. I'm excited for what's to come. But I share this with you today because if you feel burnout and it's been consistent for months and years, please do not ignore it. There may not be a need to uproot anything yet, but these feelings should not be ignored, dismissed, or minimized. Take the time to explore them openly and honestly, and at the end of the day, it's your life, my friend, and I want it to be amazing. Landon. I could have never articulated that as well as Landon did, nor put words and texture to the feelings that I have personally experienced what feels like at least 100 times. And when I got to those stages, and some of them were intense, including back when I was a food blogger, I got full-blown adrenal fatigue. I had to completely shut down everything, sleep 12 hours a day, give up caffeine, change my life, couldn't work. And luckily I'd built enough padding to be able to do it, but it really ruined my soul. And what's in front of us as entrepreneurs is not smooth sailing right now. There's a lot of corrections happening. There's a lot of changes happening. And that's the game of entrepreneurship. But in that game, we're the most important player. And our ability to play the game for the long game is where we win the game, not in these short sprints or self-sacrificial moments. And it requires that we're intentional about changing our patterns, changing our habits, asking ourselves deeper questions, asking questions that we might not know the answer to, but be willing to try things on for size to see if we can create the different results. And this is something that maybe we used to do once a year, once every 6 months. And recently I have found myself doing this once every couple of weeks. Well, what am I doing here? How can I do this differently? How can I change that relationship? How can I create a different outcome there? How can I change this? How can I change how I deliver it? And really protecting my time and energy now that I'm the healthiest I've been. But it's a lot more frequent than it used to be. And these questions that he shared and the perspective that he shared is really profound and powerful. And so, Landon, whether you listen to this or not, I love you, brother, and I appreciate you to pieces. And thank you for letting me share this on the podcast. And for everybody listening to this, I'm going to give you those 4 questions one more time. And I'm going to really, really invite you to make a date with them. So question number 1, how do I design my life or business right now to allow me to recover or focus on me as the priority? What would I need to change to take 1 month off? What would I need to change to work half the hours and make the same income? And who do I want to work with? What do I love and not love about my current work? And I can pretty confidently say this, that if you give these questions time and you sit and come up with those real answers, not the surfacey answers, not the distractive answers, but at the deep core of alignment and your values, and you put them into practice, the only thing that can happen is positive. It might feel scary because it's different. It might feel hard because it's different. It might feel uncertain because you haven't done it before. But new levels have new devils, and they require different behaviors to get out. Not actions, behaviors, changing of things, changing of our perspective, and being willing to ask these questions and give ourselves the space to sit with them, find the clarity, and start putting it into practice. And that's how you're going to navigate and avoid burnout. And so I felt called to share this because it tickled me so deeply. And so I hope this resonates with you. I hope this helps. I hope this empowers you, supports you in any way. And if I can support you in any way, please let me know. You can DM me on Instagram. You can ask me anything that you want. If I can help you with a perspective or get through some creative ideas or whatever we can do via message or back and forth, just let me know. You're not alone in this. Your life gets to be amazing, and it's your life. And ultimately, the choices you make and the clarity you get are up to you, because nobody knows it as well as you do. But the faster you realize it and the faster you get honest with yourself about these things, the faster you can have that life that you want. And so I love you to pieces. I appreciate you. I hope you have the most beautiful, beautiful day. God bless. Remember that relationships will always beat algorithms, especially the one with yourself. So I'll either see you in the next episode or you will hear me in your earballs. But either way, we're out.